JR, Hanley, Jason Anspach, Nick Cole, and me, Walt Robillard. Hit it, JR.
All right, so welcome back to another episode of the Sci-Fi Shenanigans podcast. But you might have noticed we're in a different location today. Apparently, you sing off-key a few too many times. They kick you out of your house, and you got to move into somebody else's house. So we're in the Galaxy's Edge Playroom right now. We wanted to, because of our special guests, when we talk about this upcoming Dragon Award finalist nomination, to speak directly to their fans. So what better way to do that than through the magic that Walt has over the interwebs and this channel that he runs so graciously hosted for us. So thank you, Walt.
Cheers. Hit it.
And if you didn't guess, we have Nick Cole as one of our guests, and John, wow, speak much. Jason Anspach. Is that how you say it, right? It's Anspach now?
No, but why should you know it by now? It's only been years.
Isn't that how they said it when the season 1 or 2 first book? Anspach?
You know they're going to take your fan card away, right?
Yeah, this is how you get fired from fans.
Oh, Jesus. All right, so my joke fell flat. I'll work harder next time, I promise. All right, so first, dear listener, we're going to give you a quick little rundown about what the Dragon Award is. So the Dragon Awards are fan-voted award that, quote, recognizes outstanding achievement in science fiction and fantasy literature, comics, gaming, and filmed entertainment. They're given out annually at the Dragon Con in Atlanta, Georgia, and have been going strong since 2016. However, this year they will be done digitally because it's 2020, people. The award process consists of 2 steps: the nomination, where anybody can register and nominate, and then they tally those, and the 4 with the most in every category make it to the ballot, and then they send out the ballot, which is where we're at now, and anybody with registration can vote. The nominations are collected electronically. Participation is available to everyone, requiring no membership or other fees to vote, which sets it in a class by itself when it comes to literary awards. There are currently 15 categories, although we know only one matters. We've got Best Science Fiction Novel, Best Fantasy Novel, Best Young Adult Middle Grade Novel, Best Military Science Fiction or Fantasy Novel, important one, Best Alternative History Novel, Best Media Tie-In, Best Horror Novel, Best Comic Book, Best Graphic Novel. Okay, before we go any farther, Walt, what's the difference between a comic book and a graphic novel?
A comic book is usually 32 pages with some ads and then back matter cover. A graphic novel is usually either a collected or long format comic, usually 64 pages or more.
And there's probably going to be some nudity.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have Best Science Fiction or Fantasy TV Series, Best Science Fiction or Fantasy Movie, Best Science Fiction or Fantasy PC or Console Game, Best Science Fiction or Fantasy Mobile Game, Best Science Fiction or Fantasy Board Game, and last but not least, Best Science Fiction or Fantasy Miniatures, Collectible, Card, or Role-Playing Games. Hey, you might even get to compete in that one in the future, I hope. Hint. But while
they're in motion. Actually, Walt is in motion.
I am in motion.
Yeah, well, he's a force of nature, so that works. And if he slows down at all, that dog is going to eat him. So he better keep running. So
you're going to drag me through the street screaming.
Sometimes I wonder who walks whom. But we have the finalists who've been nominated. We've gathered a group of the 2020 nominees to talk about it. If by group you mean the legendary co-emperors themselves, Jason Anspach and Nick Cole. We weren't able to get everyone together in one place, but that's okay because you came to listen to these two anyway. But Jason and Nick, for people that might not know who you are, can you introduce yourself and tell us what you were nominated for?
You have a call from the LA County Jail.
I'm Nick. I'm free right now to be able to talk for a few minutes. Jason and I work together on creating Galaxy's Edge. We're both science fiction writers doing our best to avoid legitimate work. So we make stuff up and we have fun. I think the genesis of the idea came when Jason and I were talking, and I said to him, well, what do you really want to write in life? And he said, I don't know. And I said, what do you love? And he said, I love Star Wars and G.I. Joes. And I'm like, why don't you write that? And that started us both kind of juicing and having a good time. And since then, we've just, been hoping not to get caught.
Doing either.
Juicing or having a good time. Well, this is LA. So do you mean juice is in like beverages, or juicing is in, juicing?
Venice Beach.
Yeah.
I think LA has taken such an emotional dump that, like 6-7 months ago, it would have been juicing and bro squad at Gold's. But I think now it's just juice boxes and waiting on freedom. And down in Orange County, they don't call us the Kentucky of the OC or the Kentucky of Orange County for nothing. We've decided to release ourselves on our own recognizance.
Okay. What about you, Jason?
Yeah, same situation for me. Exact same situation, except for replace LA with a little town in Washington State, and replace juice with beer. And I think we're pretty much on the same page at that point.
Outstanding. So how long before you start your own little Galaxy's Edge compound / retirement community and just say F the world?
Oh yeah, it's already here, man.
I think we're looking for the acreage in Texas right now. If we can find about 300 acres of something no one wants, then we will. Then coming to you, the Galaxy's Edge retirement community.
It's called Providence, Rhode Island.
Yeah.
All right. So, what novel were you guys, and what category were you nominated for?
Best novel ever. No, we were basically nominated for the Space Marine category, which is kind of really the only category that matters. I mean, it's weird. Like, there's a science fiction category, but that's everything. We're all writing science fiction. No one's writing nonfiction or thriller or whatever. So, to me, Space Marine really could be in the best category, but I like it that it's on its own because. I think that it was able to remain more pure this year. It didn't get caught up in any sort of politics or culture wars or anything like that. The Space Marine category is very clearly defined as military in space. And generally that's going to be a certain crowd that just wants a certain kind of book. And that's cool. And so I think we're in the best category, honestly, because it's one of the most pure categories. There's definitely a group of people that read these kind of books, are enthusiastic about this culture, and that's the cool selling point. And honestly, that's the only category I think we'd want to be in.
Outstanding. And Jason, can you tell us what book was it that was nominated?
No, I have not actually heard the answer to that. I just show up where I'm led. So I was hoping somebody else could let us know.
Oh, you just consult your boss. I mean, your wife. Isn't that how this works?
She does not like anything that I write.
Really?
All right. Well, then, since they're being coy, we have them nominated for Savage Wars Book 1 of the best military science fiction or fantasy novel.
Yeah.
And, that's the only category that matters, people. So, Jason or Nick, either one of you could take this one, but can you give us a Reader's Digest synopsis of your nominated novel, Savage Wars? Speak clearly now. And for those of you who want a larger interview, if you bug us often enough over at the Sci-Fi Shenanigans Fan Club Facebook group, then I'm sure I can twist some arms and make some bribes and peer pressure, get them both back to talk about that specific series. And incidentally, that series is the sponsor of today's episode. So take it away, Jason or Nick. Give us the Reader's Digest version of Savage Wars.
I'll jump in and say something weird, and then Jason can actually make sense and tell you what it's about. But basically, think of it's if Band of Brothers killed a bunch of commie bastards. That's what this movie this book is all about. It's like Inglourious Bastards in space, but sort of killing elite commies, like the people who run Microsoft and Google and stuff like that. Now Jason will want all of that redacted because it's offensive, but that's the hidden truth. No, it's basically, about a band of brothers, that soldiers that are an unlikely band that come together. They're fighting in what the opening moments of what really could be a losing war. And they come to sort of a come to Jesus moment where they realize if you do it sort of the government way, if you do it the stupid way, nothing's going to get done and everybody's going to die. So in effect, they form sort of this military force that's going to become the best in the galaxy, the literal 1% of the 1% of the 1%. And this is their origin story. And it just starts off with just a massive no holds barred battle against post-humanity. It's good old, it's us good old knuckle draggers with our AK-47s and clubs fighting people who are better than us, who have evolved, used technology, have all the right thoughts, sensitivity readers for Walt, and we basically just club them to death with our knuckles and AK-47s. Jason?
Oh, am I supposed to add to that? I don't know that there's anything to add to that.
I think you now have to say the official version that doesn't get us in trouble.
Yeah, the official version, right? Like there's the Nick version, and then there's the official version. That's kind of how we do things there. There's the protective way, and then there's our way.
I'm plausible.
So officially,
yeah,
Savage Wars was a concept that came up from the very beginning. We knew we wanted to have a big, expansive war story that happened in the past. And so if you read our very first book, Legionnaire, we made the effort to make the universe like live in person and lived in. So you were able to hear about things like the Savage Wars and then get absolutely no context whatsoever, which drove some people crazy, but other people got it, I think, right? Like if somebody just shows up on the planet and we talk about the Vietnam War, makes a lot of sense to us, but the guy who shows up is going to be left scratching his head. At any rate, we planted those seeds, and then we talked about, well, what should this actually be like? And we took a survey of our readers a couple of years ago and asked, what series do you want us to write next? What do you really want to find out about? And overwhelmingly, we heard, we want to know what the Savage Wars are like. So we got together and we started to write those books, and we wanted to kind of go back to our roots because we could start over fresh with Savage Wars. We could introduce a new cast of characters, really write a story where you didn't know who was going to live, who was going to die, who was important and who wasn't important. And that first book, after I'd say some pretty substantial delays with some of our corporate partners, getting narrators lined up, that first book took off. And so out of everything we released last year, we're really thrilled to see that this is the one that readers and listeners said is worthy of the honor.
Very humble. All right,
so Stephen Lang, the actor from Avatar, and honestly, I just pulled it out the other day because I was sharing it with some media people, and I was like, let me listen to this again. And I was like, I listened to the first, the audio sample just to taste. And it just gives you chills, man. That guy is such a pro narrator, and just his voice has so much gravitas.
Yeah, if you ever make the movie, you've got to get him involved somehow.
No, he would never do
that. You heard it here first, folks.
No, we already have. We've already restraining orders. That's all I'll say. Jason got a little too carried away.
When I see someone famous, it's like I can't control myself. I want to be able to say, I touched that famous person in a place where no one else has touched him.
and this is how he has 27 kids, people. It happens.
Yeah.
But
to be honest, the mistake I made was when Jason asked me to get a panel van. And I knew it was going to go that way, but I was kind of keen to see it go that way.
Yeah, and just the excuse to drive around in the panel van and kind of fulfill those A-team fantasies.
Yeah,
I knew it was your weakness.
Exactly. That you had me at face.
That is the trick. If you tell Nick he gets to play face, he's on. I always like to play, Mr. T's character, BA, but Mr. T is always right there with face, and Nick is really the embodiment of face.
Yeah. I think the greatest thing about the A-team, that from a writing standpoint, is that they left in his Green Beret fear of flying. Go figure. And they solved it every week. They never got tired of coming up with a fun solution. And it generally involved drugs, which was kind of funny. It was very 80, but they never pulled back from that. Like, how you watch TV shows right now, like, and they'll start off with like, the main character has cancer and he has a ticking time bomb. And then they're like, this sucks. And then they're like, oh, and he got cured of cancer. Never mind. I've watched 2 shows that are like that. The premise was you have cancer and all this shit's happening. And then they get tired of that and they just fix that. But to the 80s Coke-fueled screenwriters, I salute you. You never gave up on BA's fear of flying. As a Green Beret. Which I'm pretty sure the song says silver wings on my son's chest. Yes. You had to go to jump school. But
who's Murdoch?
Yeah.
Who's Murdoch in this equation?
It's JR. Totally, man.
I'm just going to roll with that one and move on. All right. So how did they inform you guys that you were not nominated? So telegram, carrier pigeon, they tie a rock through a note on a rock and throw it through your window. I mean, all bets are off on the West Coast. So
yeah, last year we were nominated for Order of the Centurion, and we were robbed. But this year This year they actually did it a little bit differently. Last year they apparently couldn't find our information. There's too many Jason Anspachs out there. It's like the most common name in America. So they couldn't find me on the internet. Nick Cole is also apparently just incapable of being found. And so we didn't find out last year until the nominations were announced and people started congratulating us. This year, they had our email from last year. So they let us go about a week early. They let us know ahead of time. And we resisted the urge to vague book and tell everybody that something special was coming until they made the formal announcement. So if you're wondering how it works, that's basically it. It's an email that says, hey, guess what? You were nominated. If we don't hear from you, we'll assume you want the nomination. Bye. Oh, and I should add, we weren't actually robbed last year. That's a joke. David Weber's a great guy.
All right. What about Nick? Do you have any the truth? Because that sounds a little too.
I think it's funny because
What the hell?
I won a Dragon Award, and so they knew how. They've sent it to me. They knew how to get a hold of me, and then they still didn't say anything. So I just laugh because it's funny. But we were robbed because David Weber shouldn't count. He's too iconic. He's too David Weber. He has basically an army of people. They have uniforms and a pretty decked out Camaro. But and then he gets up and he gives the greatest speech ever about how it's all about the fans and he doesn't care. And he's like if Satan were a friendly grandpa. You can't beat that. So, no, but no, I think the interesting thing is when you start out as a writer, and this is not a writing podcast, but you have all these fantasies about what you think writing will be all about, and none of them ever come true. They're always a fart in a space helmet. They're always vaguely underwhelming, and sort of awards and award announcements are kind of like that. You just figure it you should get a Willy Wonka golden envelope or something like that. And instead just someone emails you. And Jason told me and then yelled at me about not getting word count done. So
yeah, that's a popular trait. I call Nick and get him away from the computer and then yell at him for not working. It works really well to control.
And then, by the way, we got nominated for an award, so but no, it's you know what, it's really we're making fun of it, but it's pretty cool and it's pretty exciting. It's really it's more about the readers because they're the ones that actually go out and do this. They're the ones that believe it. I was reading a comment today in one of the groups, and someone was basically equating us to two major franchises, and they were saying this. They didn't say, "Oh, these are the best books ever." I was a little offended by that, but they said this is the best group ever, and then the sort of sitcom na music played in my heart, and I realized this is about them. And so this award really is about the readers, and I hope they win. And if they win, if they win, we're going to do a thing, and Jason's son is going to be in charge of the mailing and shipping, and everybody will get to hold the award for 1 hour, and we'll just ship it around the company.
It's like the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, exactly. So, but this is really about you guys, and this is really about the GE culture and the Leeges, and even the Hullbusters.
Now, did Jason? Did your son just have a minor stroke when Nick said that?
No, he's at the age where being able to travel like that is just sign him up, right?
So I heard a nasty rumor that Nick was going to put a rucksack on and put the Dragon Award in it and actually just walk the whole country to visit all those Leeges so they could touch it for a second. Go full force comp.
It would probably snap because it looks like Kirk's lava lamp. I remember the first one I won, it was really cool. And one of the other winners broke theirs, and I felt so bad for them. I think it was Larry Correa maybe. And it got broken shipping. So then they had to have a new one made or whatever. But that kind of feels a little underwhelming. But it honestly is the coolest looking award. It's not like the Hugo, which is obscenely weird. It does look like Kirk's lava lamp. It's cool. And I would ruck, but then I won't write. And
Jason will get mean to you. And
Oh yeah. I'll pull up in the panel van not give them a ride home, but just pull up and be like,
Yeah.
if you're not home in 15 minutes,
Yeah.
I'm burning all your stuff. That's basically
Here's what I gotta wonder, right? So we get you on these interview shows, and then we have like these fantastic jokes about panel vans and rucksacks. What are the conversations like when there is no audience?
Inappropriate. We've learned a lot of our cues, or rather, Jason's learned a lot of my cues. And basically, if I say, I don't mean to be political here when we're talking about a storyline, I can pretty much hear Jason muting me for the next 20 minutes. And then like coming back in where I'll be like, and that's why Trump is right. And then Jason will come in and go, yes, but what are we going to do about Prisma?
That's basically how it goes. Yeah. Yeah. Or if it's on a podcast like this, I do the same thing. I mute, but I start calling sponsors. I start calling narrators, and I say, this is all an act. This is a show. It's all entertainment. Please don't cancel. No, we do want the money. Yes, I understand.
All right, well then I'll pull this back on the tracks and ask you, what was your first reaction about hearing you were nominated again? And good news for you guys is they're actually not going to allow David Weber to be nominated anymore. They're going to create a 16th category. They're going to call it the David Weber category, and then every year just a David Weber book will be nominated and win. So the David Weber award will go to David Weber, and everyone else has a chance.
I drove down to San Juan Capistrano, where Hollywood actually lives, because there really was a Hollywood, and she was the head cheerleader at my high school. And I basically just drove around screaming out winner from my rented Corvette.
Is that somewhere between Reno and Rome?
Somewhere between Reno and Rome.
Okay, just checking. What about you, Jason?
Jason, what did you do?
I got the email, and I went downstairs. I told my wife, and she was like, "Oh, that's cool." And then I went to work.
So she's like the slave in the tells the emperor thou art mortal. She just sort of keeps you remembering.
Yeah, and I'm not even like a consulate.
You're the co-emperor, damn it.
What is that?
She does not recognize the authority of Galaxy's Edge as a kingdom.
I was in a doctor's office a week or so ago, and Nicole got into a fight with a nurse over masks, and the doctor had to get involved. And he came to me, and he like tried to appeal to me rationally, because Nicole is pretty and tiny and doesn't seem vicious and rabid, and like somehow I'm like this big giant is gonna like calm things down. And he's like, you know how it is. And I go, sir, I just work here. And then I just kind of tilted my head at Nicole. So the women, they don't care as long as the check's cash.
Right. Yeah, they knew us before there was any reason to be impressed by us, and chose us anyway. So they're not going to get all excited about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, my wife does the same thing.
Sort of how it goes. All right. So what does this nomination for the Dragon Award mean to you as an author? You can be as sappy as you want to. We won't judge you if sneaky ninjas cut onions near your eyeballs and fluids leak out.
Bad thought.
I think this is the only nomination as an author that is important. I could not care less about getting a Hugo or a Nebula nomination whatsoever. But an award where a group of listeners and readers collectively get together and say, not only should this be, considered, but this should be a finalist. This should be an award. This should be a book that we collectively think is worthy of the title of Best Military Science Fiction of the Year. How can you possibly beat that? And when you really consider it, like, look at Nick and I. Like, we're just two dudes. Like, that's it. We don't have like a giant mouse-eared corporation behind us spending hundreds of thousands on advertising. We don't have any significant push, like all the money that comes with big corporate science fiction, and yet we're still standing there shoulder to shoulder with people that are being published by Baen and people that are being published by Tor, and the readers and listeners are saying, hey, you belong here. And to me, that's the biggest thing, is the fact that you have people who you're trying to reach, who you're trying to make happy, say, hey, we are happy and we want you to know about it.
That is 100% the absolute best right answer. I think 6 months ago, I would have said something a little more like, they don't mean anything, blah, blah, blah. But now, all right, get ready, not to get political here. But just in where major corporations are starting to make decisions based on identity politics, the awards like this are cool because what they show is they show the people who are actually reading. I can't control what corporations do or what they want the culture to be, but Jason and I are all about readers. And so reaching them, this is like telling us that we're doing good work, that we're doing right, and they're the only ones that matter. And we invest heavily in our books. Like, you can just write a book and throw it up and push publish, and you can actually make money. Like, people will just buy it. Like, even with bad grammar or a sucky cover with the same starship getting blown up and the same chick running and the same cat monster that just looks like a, regular cat or whatever, you can do all that and still make money because readers are cool. They'll actually look past bad covers and bad editing to get to a pretty good story. But Jason and I invest a lot of money in the editing. People that we would probably give a shout out to just here is our editor, David Gatewood, Lauren Moore, who comes in and cleans things up, basically a line editor. Mention anybody that I forget, Jason, but we got Kevin Summers, who makes our books look completely pro. Our marketing guy, Ryan Boubion, who's come in and just revitalized sort of the images that you're seeing now in the GE fan club, which, you should totally be a part of. It's a lot of fun. It's a completely inappropriate, hilarious sci-fi group. This very pro-military and very pro-veteran and very welcoming, even if you're not in those things. Just if you're enthusiastic about it, it's actually the memes alone are worth, come for the series, stay for the memes. It's just a lot of fun, and they have a lot of fun over there. And so that's also JR, who's part of this podcast. He's the community manager, and honestly, he's a gift from God. Everyone is. And that's who, that's what I would say, Jason's answer. And then just that what this really tells me is, in a world going slowly mad about things that don't matter, this is like on our land nav. This is like the point we've been aiming for, even though the compass is fucked up.
Okay, Jason, you think you could top that one?
I think he muted when I said not to get political.
Yeah, I did. I did a couple phone calls.
I think he called Nabisco, who's working on our GE Nilla wafers.
Yeah, right. And that's in jeopardy now, but that's okay. No, I don't have anything to add to that. I feel like he added to what I said, JR. So I don't think I need to refine.
I was just. Do you want to re-refine? Do you want to redact?
Would you like to correct that
corporate sponsor?
This is one I've heard before. Would you like to disavow?
So when you two sat back and you started writing Legionnaire, the book that launched it all, actually you started with Galactic Outlaws, didn't you? When you first started writing the book that launched all of it, did you ever imagine it would blow up to where it is? I mean, you've got people making their own t-shirts to get the logos they want, getting tattoos and other cool stuff. They're making coins and cosplay outfits. Did you ever expect it would get to this point?
We always go into projects expecting success, but there's a level of success and treatment that I don't think you can predict. And so, we thought, all right, we're going to write a good book. It's going to be received as at least that much, and we're going to make back what we invested into it. I think we had the confidence to do that, or we probably wouldn't have done it in the first place. And that's kind of our starting point for anything we do. But for it to have reached this level, like, I think when we first started seeing people sharing tattoos of our cover art and tattoos of our logos, we realized that we had achieved something a bit different, and certainly different from anything we'd done before.
Have you guys?
I did not think it would. I just didn't understand the level that people, I think Jason saw what the Star Wars community had in its heyday, and he knew that there was the potential for that. And so he built the system to go there and to be received by people who wanted to play. I didn't understand that. And so I'm always pretty blown away when someone gets a tattoo when there's a meme. More importantly, when someone says I can't go to the VA unless I have a GE book in my pocket because it's the only way I cope. I didn't anticipate any of those things. I don't think Jason anticipated anything. We saw that, like, because of the Star Wars model, and Jason saw this, that people would, if you made a place, people will come there, just like Disneyland, just like Walt Disney. But I don't think, not the level of fever, not at all.
All right. So obviously, as authors, we're all readers as well. So what do you think this award means to the readers themselves?
I think that to them, it's doesn't. I think it's a navigation point for them. That I think it's a source of pride. I think they love, like, when you hear the stories about how they share it, like if they're two guys in a unit or people that run into each other, or someone the other day like spotted someone with a GE shirt on or stuff like that. It just feels good to be in a community. There's a guy right now who's a fister over, I think, in Africa, and he's trying to get his whole platoon deployed into it and everything like that. And they're digging on it and stuff like that. I think that, like I said, this is for them. And I hope it means a lot for them. I hope it just means that, what I really hope it means is that it means that we're being respectful with their time. And I most assuredly think we are, because we avoided writing the Hogus biopic novel, Am I Fat or Is My Plate Carrier Too Small?
Dude, I would read that.
Yes. I have been asking for that book for years.
Write
now.
that one, and then you could write KTF me and KTF me again, but that one first.
Okay.
All right, just so we're clear, and we'll come back to that a little bit later, dear listener.
Plate carrier, right? Everybody feels like that. That's not just me, right? It is just me.
Right. I mean, we can't all be a stud like Jason.
It's not so much being a stud as it is you learn to not care.
There you go.
All right. So do you think the Dragon Award, because it is so fan focused, is going to change how we interact with the sorts of stories we consume?
I'll let Jason take that one.
Yeah, like change how you interact with the stories that you're going to consume.
Yeah, how the readers interact.
I'm not sure what you're going to do.
Yeah, like Jason, like Jared, what are you doing with them besides reading? Like, it's
we're gonna have to redact that one for the family friendly status. So I know that we've also seen in recent years, and not even because of the COVID stuff, a resurgence in fan club type activities, mostly in things like Reddit or Discord or Facebook groups where people can sort of get together and get their nerd on. And I think you started seeing some of that start to come back, because everyone, if you would ask me in 2012 about fan clubs, I'm like, yeah, that was so 80s. Like, nobody does that anymore.
Yeah.
And even like David Weber's Honor Harrington fan club is dwindling numbers for a while. But then something clicked right about the middle teens, and suddenly they're on the ascendancy again. You've got new ones popping up, and people are hanging out. And
I think like it's kind of, that's what I like about the GE fan club is, like, I think a fan club that just focused on the stuff that we wrote would get boring after a few minutes, and especially if you're trying to drive it. Did we lose JR? No. But then, like, what really makes the internet cool is that, like, and especially, like, it's easy with the military stuff because of memes that we all get, crayons and everything that makes fun of the Air Force and stuff like that. Like, so there are other things to do. And then that kind of leads to common experiences that people can share. Or, I've seen them get involved in politics and seen suddenly people appear that are maybe on different sides of the spectrum. And then they kind of talk about it and, either exchange broadsides or get over it and have fun. Or like today we were trying to, talk about one of our guys who's having some problems at the VA, and other people were able to come in and maybe share their experiences with them and things like that. So I think if it were just about the brand, boring after a while. But what's cool is it becomes a culture. And so, that's why we're going to do the GE retirement home, the GE cruise, the GE Amtrak through North Dakota. I think it's going to be fun for everyone.
Okay. And I hear that on the GE cruise that Jason is actually going to do a dance number for everybody.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like you remember Dancing with the Stars. It's going to be like that.
Okay.
Jason and his wife are competition flamingo dancers, and so I think we're all going to get treated to some really great tango. Nicole will sing, and I'll just be the stage manager, and we will do anything to entertain you, and hopefully it's better than the Star Wars Christmas special.
That's actually our line. Like whenever we turn anything in, is this better or worse than the Star Wars Christmas?
That is a high bar to cross, or however will you handle it?
Yeah.
All right,
Chewbacca's dad and porn. Just remember that.
Okay. Well, would you like to disavow?
There's no disavowing
I think Lucas would like to disavow.
That's historic fact.
Yeah, when Chewbacca's dad puts on a virtual reality helmet and imagines disco porn or whatever it is, I don't know. It's so odd. It was confusing.
I think Walt's got the right idea. He grabbed the popcorn.
I'm just here for the dumpster fire.
Yeah, and that's still not the low light of Star Wars. That's what's really interesting.
I would like to point out too, like Jason came up with that line. The galaxy's edge is. I don't know. The galaxy is a dumpster fire.
You can tell I came up with the line because I know it.
Yeah, and I just I think for a long time too, I wouldn't spell Leej the right way, and Jason would get mad at me in every manuscript. But hats off to 2020 for really doing like 90% of our marketing, with just reaffirming the galaxy as a dumpster fire. It's been great. But it's just funny, like that line, everybody just relates to that line now on so many levels.
Absolutely. You just need scented candles, although maybe we'll talk about what that dumpster fire smells like, because anyway, but that could be your next branding merchandise.
I'm a preferred member at Joanne's Crafts. I have a lot of scented candles.
Yeah, and we're working on a fish scented cube candle right now.
Yeah.
Does it say Big Die on the back?
Metro has that.
On the label, but yeah, it does say it.
Outstanding. And you're going to get people in your Galaxy's Edge page where they're going to be like, hey, Jason and Nick, love the series, but what about that candle you promised me? And then we're going to have to spend hours explaining to people that you were joking, I hope.
Yeah.
No.
Funny, if you ever like tag me and write something and DM me, this is the response you get. And I feel that it answers everybody's question, which is great idea. Don't write back.
All right. So was this the award nomination something you two campaigned for, or was it something a little more organic with your fans doing all the heavy lifting?
I don't think there was any campaigning, was there, Jason? Like we're kind of like, we were nominated last year and robbed by Satan Grandpa. And I think we've been a little dead to it since. It's like when your parents were gonna take you somewhere like Disneyland, and then you didn't go, and then they're like, "But we'll go to Chuck E. Cheese," and you're kind of sullen about it. So I think we're a little burnt on it, and like I said, it was the readers who did it. The truth of the award is it doesn't do anything for you financially. It doesn't. I think I see a lot of people going all in, and I just want to ask them a little bit like, what do you think is going to happen on the other side of this? And I know nothing is going to happen. It's just going to be Tuesday, but it's for the readers and it's cool. So if you're excited for them, then you're in the right place. We are really excited for the Galaxy's Edge people getting their 1 hour to hold it. The easiest way to do this is do like a Vegas range day. And then everybody gets to, maybe we could all have a picture where we backlight it and then we all touch it, like that Trump Saudi Arabia picture. That's weird and freaking everybody out. And then, it really is for all of us, or, maybe we auction it for charity. I don't know, but it's for them, but it's not going to do anything for us, career wise, or anything like that. What we do is like probably what 90% of Jason and I's conversations this week were, which were, basically trying to next level Galaxy's Edge to where we think we want to take it, which may be forming our own movie studio. We're not sure. But that's a thing that we've actually been talking about a lot lately. We never wait around for anybody or anything to do anything for us. We just go do it on our own. We came up with a slogan, which is basically, actually Jason came up with it, which is called Without Permission. And it's basically how we live our lives. We don't wait for anything or anyone to do anything for us. We just go do it. And our dreams for Galaxy's Edge are way bigger than just books. Comic books, folks. No, just joking. Bigger than that. Yeah.
A series of haikus. Yeah. Well, and to that point, that this is actually the testimony to the Galaxy's Edge universe. And that is, they did this themselves, right? Like I saw the posts on the Facebook fan club group where they got together and they said, hey, here are the books. Here's what came out this year. Here's what's eligible. And, we had no idea, right? Like it could have been Takeover. It could have been Karen Travis's excellent novel, The Best of Us. It could have been a lot of different things. And I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of our readers nominated, multiple books by us. But this collectively is what came out. It wasn't us saying, hey, Savage Wars is the one you need to focus on. It was them getting together and having that conversation and saying, hey, what did you really love? And then they went and made it happen. So it's completely outside of us. And that's what makes this award so special.
Yeah. Now, I mean, if anyone got like a call at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning that said vote Savage Wars, and I read off the last 4 of your credit card, that wasn't me.
This is a deep fake. That's our new excuse for that.
Yeah. It was probably Josh Hayes because he was with law enforcement,
Oh man, I'm gonna catch shit for this.
All right. So we're going to get a little bit meta for a second. So do you think we're going to see an expansion of the categories? We've known that in recent years, changes have been made. Post-apocalyptic category was dropped, which I still don't understand why, because that's an awesome category. If you think more change is coming, what do you think some of that might be for the Dragon Awards?
Not to get political. No. Jason, you answer.
I think that they probably need to start acknowledging audiobooks. Because it is such a crucial part of the way people consume stories now. So whether that's best audiobook for each category, or whether they just try to go with just a best science fiction audiobook in general, I really feel like there's an opportunity there. We certainly have a very large audience who listens to us in audio, and they will tell you that sometimes a book that is amazing on print doesn't make the translation to audio, and sometimes a book that is just wonderful on audio is absolutely terrible if you try to sit down and read it. So I that's where I would go. I would say you got to take a look at these audiobooks and give an award that goes to the author and the narrator working together on a different aspect of the project. They do that already with some of the film and television. So that's my vote.
I'd like a category that should come up, which is called Best Random Uncle, to give you an idea that they think will make you $1 million. Because they find out like you're writing books, and then they're like, you know what you should write, and then they basically retell you Star Wars, and then you say to them like, that's a good idea, you could do that. That's how I write books on the internet. And they're like, no, you could do it. And I'm like, oh, thanks for giving me a work assignment. So there should be like Best Rando Suggestion Book Idea category. And then all of us would turn it in. Like, my Uncle Mike gave me this one about Aquaman, but it's in the post-apocalyptic, like, that's actually a good one.
I don't know. I could see.
Isn't that Waterworld? Did you just describe Waterworld?
Which is weird, because I just read an article today where Waterworld is getting this weird resurgence because it's so spot on. We're all living in giant tankers, driving jet skis, and smoking cigarettes when there's no arable land.
We try not to judge.
I had questions about that one, but maybe they had a replicator in the back or something. We talked about some of the tattoos that were cover art tattooed on people's skin, and that had me thinking that the covers in the industry writ large, lifted largely by the push, I think, from the indie side, have gotten better by leaps and bounds than what we saw in the early to mid-teens. So I could see best cover art in various categories as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
I mean,
Tommaso will win that. Our cover artist, he'll win it.
He's amazing. I mean, I still remember. Was it 2015?
Well, his
where
name's not Tommaso. His name's Gene. Yeah,
Gino.
so don't anyone go looking for any artist named Tommaso. His name is Gene Parmesan.
Wow, that was a nice save.
So I remember when everyone had the same Space Marine on their cover that was from the Stock Art Studios.
Oh, it was the
And
blue
now-
guy, right?
Yeah, which I actually still have on one of my books, but everyone else changed it, so now I'm like retro. So I
What
can
I
read
like
it.
is there was a guy right when Legionnaire launched that basically had a half-naked real live girl dressed up as a space princess, and he was killing it in sales. And I guess like on the look inside or even the book description, he said there are more photos of this girl inside the book. And he was just beating the hell out of us until Amazon got rid of him.
That's creative.
Hey,
All
is
right,
it cool if I throw a couple of fan questions out there?
absolutely.
Fans of who?
JR, obviously. I mean,
Not
you know.
allowed.
Ken Foster wanted to know how many drafts do you guys normally go through?
I can do a pitcher a night when I used to drink, but
Yes. Support me. Continue to support me.
I would say, you know, like at least 2 or 3 between us, but then it goes to David, so that counts as 1. Then it comes back to Jason, and he, you know, him and David laugh about all the stupid shit that I do, and then they delete it all. So that's 4, and then Lauren gets it, and that's 5. Is that fair, Jason?
Yeah. I mean, if it's not Lauren, it's Glenn. Glenn Schotten. Shout out to Glenn in the UK who's holding it down there. But yeah, that's basically it. You know, we will essentially do multiple passes on a book, but it happens so quickly because we have a team. You know, Nick and I are writing, and we're breaking up responsibilities separately on every project. Sometimes one of us will just take the lead and sort of say, all right, here's the story we came up with. What do you think? And then the other one reads it and says, and makes adjustments. Sometimes we split up the word count entirely, and we say, I'm going to do these arcs, you're going to do these arcs, and we both write a certain amount. But we don't have a set number of drafts. What we have is just a product that gets just put under the microscope over and over and over again before it's finally ready to come out. And then in addition to that, we have our insiders, Nick, who read all the books early, you know, after it's been edited and everything like that. And there's been plenty of times where they've had suggestions or they've had thoughts, and we've thought, oh yeah, that didn't make sense, and gone back and started yet another draft.
Yeah. Like we have a project called Forgotten Ruin. It's just being delivered right now, if you can't tell. And I would say that is like on its 8th or 9th draft, and it's still got 1 or 2 more to go.
So it's already started. Cooper Stafford over on the YouTubes, it looks like, is saying he wants that scented candle. So now you know what your next merch is going to have to be, Jason.
Yeah, man,
Yeah,
people will buy it.
The guy with the best handle I've seen all day, Hobo Carnival. He says, "I
Carnival.
want it," and I'm. Oh yeah, there you go. I want it, and I'm not okay with that.
I'm thinking we'll get that phosphorescent yellow, reminiscent of Coob blood itself, and then we'll just get a nice, strong, kind of fishy yet reptilian odor. I think this is going to work out really well, honestly.
Wow. Do you have any more questions from the fans that you're seeing, Walt?
Yeah, they want to know why you guys haven't been giving 2020 any more ideas, and they've had to default back to California wildfires.
Wildfires are a huge part of season 2.
Yeah. From the Facebook feed, Kevin Patrick Harrell is saying, would you guys ever make a set of illustrations? It would be really awesome to see visual representations of a lot of the hardware from GE, kind of like one of those, like, you know, Art of Galaxy's Edge books that people everywhere would want on their coffee table. And I do mean everywhere.
I think, yeah, I mean, we talk about that all the time. Good. How about that? Just those 4 right there. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. That was the novel being delivered by. I had Mexican immigrants write it. So.
Oh my god!
So they, we've talked about doing an art source book, and it's a lot of money. We're engaging in something now. We're kind of putting stuff together, like honestly, to maybe start our own kind of maybe little movie studio, or we were going to have a ton of art done to basically tell one of our stories and then do it as a YouTube video and everything like that. So if you're asking for more art and conceptualization and what it will look like, it is coming. The question is, how big do we want to go? The minimum we can go is bigger than anyone has ever done in our peers or contemporaries. I can safely say that it's bigger even than anything Brandon Sanderson. Like, that's how big it is. Like, that's how much of our ass we'd have to lay on the line to do it. And we're perfectly willing to do it. There's another step where we might actually get involved with investors and do something that's like crazy nuts, but has become totally possible. And we're at a cultural moment where businesses are tanking and models are changing, and we think we could slip in and do something that no one else has done. So the short answer is, yeah, you're going to see some really cool art and conceptualizations of what the Galaxy's Edge universe is. The long answer is, we're about to do some really crazy shit.
So do we expect to see the Galaxy's Edge lunchbox and thermos combination, Jason?
Yeah, it's going to be like that scene in Spaceballs, basically. Galaxy's Edge, Galaxy's Edge, the lunch pail. Yeah, we already have the T-shirts, the flamethrower we have. We're close.
Nice. You can definitely put me down for one of those flamethrowers.
It's legal-ish. Yeah, sign me up.
Well, there's a what are those things? Groundhog. It's a groundhog in the backyard that keeps eluding Balder, and he's getting pissed. So I don't want him to. I don't want him to suffer. Well, I don't want the dog to suffer. The groundhog, he can get a flaming ride to wherever.
Well, that groundhog, once Balder catches him, is going to suffer.
Oh my God, he is normally a groundhog catching machine. I think he's just depressed because nobody's mentioned him for 5 minutes. So
I will say, if you
go ahead.
As I say, if you go the TV or movie route, look at the people that run the YouTube channel Dust. Oh my goodness, they put out some amazing stuff on a budget.
Yeah, we're actually having a conversation with one of their people.
Ooh.
Wow.
It's stuff's happening. It's interesting. It's just all because, the world has changed and there's some interesting things that could happen. We just kind of have to figure out, like, should we do this? And what does the world look like in a year? And, are we broke and, basically living out of a dumpster? And the answer is go for it.
So which one of you is going to play Pappy in the movie?
Pappy? I think that would be the Stephen Lang role, wouldn't it? I think.
That would be fun.
He's kind of aged past where Tyrus Rex is, right? Like,
yeah,
at this point.
Yeah.
Because Tyrus Rex is, a little bit younger. Not really,
exactly.
But.
Who was I thinking about Tyrus Rex the other day that would have been awesome? And then, no, I forget. Anyways. So, but a lot of the times those stuff's happening.
Outstanding.
It's bigger than anyone in our peer group has done. It's huge if we go for it. It'll be fun.
Outstanding. Speaking of huge.
Totally get ulcers.
Outstanding. That's the only way to go. So speaking of huge, I understand a certain deal was made with fans as a thank you should you guys win this award, or win, shall we say. You win this award. So do you guys want to talk about that real quick?
Yeah. When we found out,
what was it?
Yeah, Nick doesn't know about this deal, so he's going to find out at the same time. When we found out that the fans nominated us for this because it's a fan award, we wanted to think of a practical way to thank them that didn't involve, the whole go around the country. Because the dirty little secret is Nick doesn't like to travel, and I don't really like to either. So what we decided to do was, if we win this award, if the fans carry us all the way through, we are going to be putting an open poll on our Galaxy's Edge fan club page, and it's essentially going to be list the novels, the Galaxy's Edge novels you want written. Just list them out and vote on it. Then we're going to take the top 8. We're going to do an Elite 8 style tournament, pair off the 1 seed with the 8 seed and so on. And whatever comes out of that, Nick and I are going to stop everything. We are going to write a novel, and it's going to be the novel that you say we should write. And we're going to publish it, go with the full editing, the full art, everything like that. So what we're saying is, if you really honestly want Masters to write KTF me, this is the way to get it done.
Oh, you know somebody right now is dropping their beer and slamming keys on a keyboard, right?
By design.
I'm just saying that that Hogus book sounds divine. So you know where my vote's going.
What's Josh Hayes gonna do? Like cry and say thank you?
Oh my God, this is going to be an epic like rap battle tomorrow on the Sci-Fi Writers D&D show.
That's what we could do. We could have him do the epic rap battle. It'll be Nick versus Josh, and we'll just say go.
I already killed Josh in Vegas once. He begged me to stop. That is a fact. He begged me to stop.
That's a confirmed story.
Yeah.
Outstanding. And so I know we've had you guys for an hour and you've got lots of words to get done. And I understand very bad things have happened to Nick when he didn't meet his deadlines. So we don't want Jason to hurt him. So I've just got one more question for you, Jason and Nick. So what do you think, other than writing the KTF me or Hogus book, whatever, what do you think you guys are going to do to celebrate it when you bring the trophy home?
We are such unfun people that will probably, I'm going to give an honest answer. I'm going to give you an honest answer, actually. What we will do is we'll find a way to thank the fans first. And so that'll probably be by going on Facebook, writing a post, something like that. And what we'll do is we'll congratulate each other. We'll offer a prayer of thanks, and then we'll get right back to work.
Okay. So Walt, were there any other questions before we let these fine folks go?
Man, I'm glad I didn't say cocaine and tie hookers.
No, see, you remember, Nick, when I say I'm going to give the honest answer, that's code for don't say what you're actually going to do.
Don't say cocaine and tie hookers.
Yes, we've gone over that.
There's a whole bunch of like questions going on all over the place. I know Daniel, who helps with the Galaxy's Edge podcast, and he also does the Galaxy's Edge Discord server. He was saying he needs Velcro enhanced hoodies so he can put all his like patches on, like for his shoulders, and I don't know, one in the back of the hood or something. But like a lot of guys are just clamoring for KTF me. Lots of cheering when that went on. Yeah, there's a lot of love for everybody right now. And of course, everybody's still clamoring for the picture book. The wordy books make me think too hard. Dynamite
must be a whole buster.
Yeah.
I just want to look at pictures.
Oh my God. Yeah. Could you imagine the KTF me coloring book for the Marines?
Dude,
you're
on something.
Don't you threaten me with a good time. Yeah. I mean, it would never get colored because they're going to eat all the crayons, but
I think there's a Hole Buster specific novel coming soon.
Oh, really?
Within the year, but like we just made some new deals and restructured some stuff with Audible, and basically I think that'll be part of that. So that'll be fun.
Ooh,
yeah.
That's fantastic.
The problem is we can't turn in crayons for 120,000 words. Like we can just do that. They'd be like, no, they'll really like it, but it doesn't translate to audio. So
Hobo Carnival has he's still waiting for the pinups from Forget Nothing.
Yeah.
So
other than the one that's on, we've got a tame pinup on the website that you can download that one of our graphic designers put together. Masters hired him to do a kind of a tame cover. But it's there. If you want more pinups, like, are you talking about you want to see like Masters, like just kind of his armor stripped down? You got to be a little bit more specific.
Wow.
I'll tell you what. Like, there's this guy I know who does pinups on AR-15 mag covers. I would totally have the Honey, the tentacle chick from Takeover, put on a mag. That'd be cool.
Nick has a thing for the squid ladies, and if you've listened to enough podcasts, you've noticed it.
Yeah, I love the squid people. The 10R, they're awesome.
Wow. I
You
don't know
can't
what
tell me those tentacles wouldn't do it for you. You know, they're people. They got people parts, but instead of arms, they got tentacles. I find that
Wow.
comforting. Don't judge me.
Okay. And on that happy note, Jason and Nick, can you tell the listeners how to find you on the interwebs? And as usual, dear listeners, that will all be in the show notes.
I don't think anybody should find me on the interwebs. I say a lot of shit. You should go to GalacticOutlaws.com and you should get involved there. And you should get involved on the Galaxy's Edge fan club, because not even from a marketing purpose, anything like that place is just pure fun. It is joy in a very dark time. There's no bullshit over there, and everybody's having fun.
Okay. And what about you, Jason?
I think the same thing. You can go to galaxiesedge.us and see our website. There's a timeline that shows all the stories in chronological order if your brain hurt because of the lack of pictures or just because of our own writing stories. But yeah, the place you should go is either the Galaxy's Edge fan club on Facebook, because really we're talking about something that's been achieved by the listeners and readers of this series. So go there. And also, there's other communities that are actually equally cool, maybe a bit less safe for work, but Galaxy's Edge Discord, that's a fantastic place to go and hang out. There's multiple subreddits. I think r/KTF is probably the most, let's say, well-trafficked one, but there's a lot of places to go. And so we would encourage you, don't worry about finding out about us. We're either boring or offensive, depending on which one of us you're talking about. But the audience, like all the readers, all the listeners, the Galaxy's Edge faithful, those are people worth knowing. These are people that you can ask a question and get a helpful answer without a ton of snark or shame. And I've seen it happen over and over again. And it's the most awesome fan base there is, period. Like, just full stop, period. I don't think you can find a group of readers and listeners anywhere out there who are better than Galaxy's Edge.
I think Jason and I could die like in a murder-suicide, and this thing would go on. In fact, I think about that a lot.
Okay. And what about you, Walt? Since you were kind enough to handle this goat rope for us today, how can listeners get a little bit of taste of your awesomeness if they're brave enough?
Oh, they can just track me down at the Discord if they want. I haven't been there the last couple of weeks, a little busy, but either that or Hazard Studios. But the thing about the Discord is I just talked to Daniel, and he said the server is back up to full power. So there's all sorts of custom links and artwork and just craziness over there. So go on over, investigate. A lot of cool channels in that server. You should definitely spend some time there, because, everything from role-playing game talk to workouts, recipes, especially the book talk. Everybody's throwing down about Dragon Awards and as well as talking all the different books that are out. If you're an insider, they're insider-only areas that only you can access. So if you're a veteran, there's the same areas for veterans. So going to what Jason and Nick have been saying, there's even like areas where, if you're a veteran, like Nick was saying, some of their books are helping people when they go to the VA, because, as JR and myself can attest, sometimes that place can be a little weird and tough. So having a GE book in your pocket, or, throwing that phone out and having that GE book there to kind of pull you out of what's going on right now and remind you what it was like to, lace up your boots and strap on some armor and do the cool stuff. There's channels like that in the Discord where, if you're having a rough minute, you got Leeges in there who have walked the walk and talked the talk, who will sit down with you and say, all right, man, what's up? So that's a great part of the community, and I think in keeping with what GE has done with Mission 22 and a lot of other groups out there, Galaxy's Edge is one of the greatest fandoms out there, because granted, we're irreverent, we're crass, we're rude. Most of us have PhDs in profanity, which we're trying to curtail, and I might have failed on a couple of times. Chris Winder can edit us in post, seriously, GE fandom is just crazy, and there's a lot of great places to pull that up. So yeah, so the Discord link for that, if you're looking, is discord.g as in golf. So discord.gg/Galaxy's Edge. So check them out.
Solid.
And you can find us on our website at www.sfshenanigans.com, our Twitter at SFS_show, Sierra Foxtrot Sierra _show. You can email us at podcast@sfshenanigans.com. And last but not least, our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/SFshenanigans. And as usual, everything will be linked in the show notes.
Excellent. Is this like an awkward segue pause?
Yeah, you
I
can.
was gonna say something inappropriate, but I was going to talk about our work with runaway teenage cheerleaders, but that seems wrong.
I don't know where to go with that.
Wow. Okay.
Straight
Save
to
us
the
from
police,
ourselves, Walt.
You go straight to the police.
Save us from ourselves. Hit stop, please, for the love of God.
I am
Hey,
going to
Boba.
hit stop. For those following us on the Sci-Fi Shenanigans podcast Facebook, Galaxy's Edge fan club, and of course on the official Galaxy's Edge YouTube channel. Big shout out to guys watching us on Discord. Thanks for coming out today. And JR, don't ever ask me to save, because you know I'm going to show up at the house at 2 a.m. with a shovel and say, let's go.
Yeah.